I have with me Roger Stone. Roger was a senior campaign aide for three Republican presidents. He is author of the New York Times bestseller, The Man Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ. And he's here to talk about the Republican attack on Donald Trump. If anyone knows, it would be Roger. Roger, good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Jesse Lee, I'm so glad to be with you.
It's a real honor to have you here, Roger. You have worked on, 8 presidential campaigns, is that right?
Well, if you count Trump, it would be 9, because until August, I was the campaign director for Donald J. Trump.
Right on. I want to first ask, how well do you know Donald Trump?
I know him very well. I met him in 1979 when I was sent to New York to organize Ronald Reagan's campaign for president. And Donald and his father, Fred Trump, were the first 2 members of the New York Reagan for President Finance Committee. Donald's father, Fred Trump, was a very active conservative Republican, had been one of the major money men behind Barry Goldwater. And Donald was very active not only in raising money for us, but he actually arranged to find us low-cost office space, which he did not own, for our headquarters. He interceded with the phone company so we didn't have to wait 3 months to get our phones put in. We actually used Donald Trump's private plane to fly our petitions to the state capital, Albany, in order to file them just in time to get Ronald Reagan's name on the ballot. So.
Wow.
In 81, when Reagan was elected, I opened a Washington-based lobbying firm. Trump Organization was among my first clients. I've represented him on and off for almost 40 years. I wanted him to run for president as early as 1988, when I arranged for him to speak to the Portsmouth, New Hampshire Chamber of Commerce. And it was a typical Trumpian event. There were 2,500 people jammed in this little tiny hall. 2000, I was the chairman of his Presidential Exploratory Committee when he considered running as the Reform Party candidate. By the way, people don't know this, but he won the California and Michigan Independence Party primaries that year. And he didn't even put his name on the ballot. Local people put his name on the ballot. He couldn't get it off. He won without campaigning.
Oh, man.
And then 3 years ago, I wanted him to run against Mitt Romney. I worked as a consultant on that. And then in August, I resigned from his campaign to publish my book, The Clintons' War on Women. And I've been doing surrogate speaking and speaking on his behalf ever since.
Great. Was Donald Trump close to his father?
Very close and very similar. His father was one of the great businessmen of all time. He made his fortune building middle-class housing in the outer boroughs, and he was very famous for being frugal. He was famous for going to his construction sites after they closed down at the end of the day. He would walk the site looking for nails and put them back in the barrel so they could be reused.
Is Donald Trump a good man? Is he someone that we can trust? And what we see is what we get?
I think that's true. That's only true of Donald Trump. In other words, the Trump you see in public is the Trump you see in private. He's exactly the same. There's nothing phony about him. Sometimes right, sometimes wrong, sometimes eloquent, always articulate, but blunt, honest, gets right to the point, tells you what he really thinks. Doesn't really worry too much about the politics of it, which can be both good and bad, but very, very funny. Fun to be with. Lots of fun to hang out with. A regular guy who loves a cheeseburger, would rather have lunch with a bunch of truck drivers than a bunch of billionaires. Somebody who really kind of laughs at the wealthy class and the Wall Streeters, because Trump made his money on bricks and mortar and real estate. That's real business.
Yeah.
Not on toxic mortgage-based securities that you flip on Wall Street. So it's real wealth made the hard way.
Do you know if Donald Trump, do you know his relationship with God? Does he truly believe in God? What is his relationship and his father's relationship with God? Do you know?
Yes, they're very religious people. Donald Trump, is very proud of the fact that he had his communion, his catechism, his confirmation. He is a churchgoer every Sunday. I don't think he wears it on his sleeve. To him, it's a very private matter. Look, I was at the wake and service for both of his parents. I was at the wake and service for his brother-in-law, who was a great lawyer in New Jersey. I'm a great friend of his sister, Marianne Trump Berry, who is a very respected federal judge in New Jersey. These are deeply religious people, but they're also very private people when it comes to that aspect of their lives.
Donald Trump's, the one thing, there are many things I admire or respect about him. The one thing that stands out for me is that since being involved in this campaign, presidential campaign, he seemed to overcome all the challenges that come at him, whether it's from the Republicans or Democrats or men or women or whatever. He seemed to overcome. What is that quality? What is happening in him that causes him to overcome challenges?
First of all, I think above all, it is a serene self-confidence. He is very self-confident, and he's a winner. I mean, in life, everything he has tried, he's given his best, and he's come out a winner. Now, not every business deal he's ever done has been successful. Babe Ruth may have held the record for home runs. He also held the record for strikeouts. But as Trump has said to me, when you fail, you learn.
Yeah.
And then you don't fail the next time. I think that there's an inner confidence there. I'll tell you one thing that bothers him a lot. Now, he used to be able to just go to church like everybody else. But now when he goes to church, because he's a presidential candidate with Secret Service protection, the Secret Service has to essentially, go through with a magnometer and look into the bags or the purses, I should say, of everybody attending the church.
Yeah.
And it really bothers Trump that everybody is that inconvenienced just because of him, but he's still going to go to church because it's part of his weekly routine.
What do you know what causes a person to become or develop inner confidence in that manner? Do you know what causes that? How does that happen?
I think that he believes that his election is guided by God. I think that he believes that he's been put here at this time and place to save this country. I don't think he talks about it that way because, as you know, some non-believers would accuse him of being insane. But I think that there's an internal guidance here that is very much a part of him. People like his can-do spirit, when they say, "Oh,
Yeah.
we can't do this. The country we can't bring back our manufacturing base. We can't go back to the kind of strong industrial America we once were." Trump's belief is that we can do anything we want because, first of all, we're Americans, and secondarily, I do believe he has divine guidance. He has overcome every rule in the book. Look, I've been in American politics 40 years. And I have worked for 3 presidents. I've worked on 9 presidential campaigns. I would never have thought that his strategy of massive communication, meaning free media communication, these debates, these speeches that he gives in big rallies in the States, that's an unconventional way of campaigning. In other words, there's no TV commercials, there's no radio commercials,
Yeah.
there's no mailings, there's very few phone calls. I frankly told him it was a strategy that wouldn't work. I turn out to be completely wrong, and he turns out to be completely right. So it's a new way of doing things, and I think it's rewritten the book.